found out yesterday, and I'm in love, and I don't know what else to say. But thank you, Lord, for that sundress on that Saturday, walking barefoot down the beach. Smell of the rain up in the air, smell the flowers in the air, and I swear on my life, if you need a joke, I'll be there. You need a smoke, you take my spare. I always thought you were fine.
He was like, oh, Sean set that roof on the head. He's this mad trad head that just like loves tiny crimps. And I can't remember, what was the first thing I ever said to you? I think then we went up the Mourns, didn't we? That kind of changed everything. And why did we stay friends? Because more of them adventures. We just kept doing it. They were like, oh, we should probably do that again. And then we just did it again. But then one time Sean was like, oh, we're going to do it this time, but it's going to be in Fairhead. And I was like, I had no idea where Fairhead was. And I think all I'd ever seen was the inside of Gravity.
I think we stayed friends because we are, just equally psyched about stuff. And that's not necessarily climbing either. It's just the same outlook on life. But I think as well, we're also quite supportive of each other. So we'll have our own goals and they might be like tangential to each other, but we're equally as supportive and psyched for each other. And I think it's that support that's really important and makes a friendship last. We went to this quarry where we would just rock up in the morning, figure out a plan, stay there all day, and then come home really tired, and then just do it all again, day in, day out.
This had never been climbed, so it was Scrittley, if you can imagine, Fairhead. If you can imagine the lichen, so it's just full of lichens. But it was cracking. Sean never climbs crack. By the end of the 4 days or something you're on it, we would do it without even putting any gear in. No idea what I was getting myself into. Leading a trad climb, going up the little crevice at the start, the rattling effect, and then popping in a blue. And as soon as I popped in and pulled on the blue, the whole cliff face in front of me, it seemed like just moved. And I was like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then I pulled on it and it's still moving. I was like, Sean, help! And he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean help? I was like, everything's moving. So I was shitting myself. I didn't take off it. I actually just put my hand in, grabbed it, and then mantled the boulder that was moving to sit on top of it.
When we met, he was painted to be such a hardcore trad climber who had done these crazy death-defying E96s. And then I remember there was one day in the quarry where we tried to on-site this S and you had to lower off because you were so spooked. And I was like, no, it's like a very niche kind of hardcore where I was like, you do hardcore things, but it's also like, okay, I'm gonna have to climb up after you and help you down off this S. So it was like it was like, okay, you're infallible. You're hardcore when you want to be, but also very human at the same time, which I think is like a really nice combination.
So anyway, I found the courage eventually to never fist jammed in my life. Put a fist jam in somewhere. Put my hand in, fist absolutely exploded out. I still had one hand on the juggish up top, trying to get me way to get the feet where the block was actually cracked below. So anyway, eventually managed to lower off. I placed a lot more gear actually eventually, and then managed to lower off it. All the while absolutely terrified coming down. Bear in mind, all of this was the first lead in my life. Never led a thing in my life. Sean's lowering me down. Not a dry run between not even a dry run had I done before. Never placed any number of cams in my life. Any nuts, any wires, nothing. So lowered down off it anyway, and Sean was like, right, we finished. I think we finished up for the day, and then because it was getting a bit busy, so we popped back to the camp, and then went about eating our burger that night. That was the night that Rowan nearly got food poisoning. So that was the night where Rowan bit into his raw burger and realised, oh no, my burger's raw. And then dipped it to the pan.
My favourite memory, I guess, of the summer is just getting progressively more comfortable on different routes and really exploring where my limit was, like mentally more so than physically. And then progressively, I guess, I don't know, do more stupid things because you get kind of limited. I think one of my favourite memories was when Junior would come along and be impossibly cute, but also wreak such havoc. So you'd be trying to set up an anchor, and then you turn around and it wasn't a tree that your rope was stuck in, it was just Junior sitting so innocently on all the ropes. I think the soloing days were really lovely because then it was like very chill, not spooky, but felt adventurous. A nice little adventure.
Sean eventually climbs his way up. We wouldn't say fashionable style again. It was butchery again. Did you bring any apparatus? No tools? No, just mauled it off. So that's how loose it was, and I nearly took on it. And yeah, I would have took my life and then everybody else below's life out if I had lowered off the initial blue that I placed. So anyway, yeah, we whipped it off and allowed us then to get into the meat of rattling. Lead after lead, kind of teetering across and getting further, and all the while getting really, really far away from the last piece of gear, because you have to climb the whole traverse across to a good lip that you can stand on, but then you make your way up to the crux before going actually out to the sharper, or it's blunt, but it's the sharper of the arrests. And before you get up there, it's like you do. I remember watching calf going across and just being like, geez, he made that part look so easy, but it's the crux before you get to the letterbox where you can place a little red. It's a green DMM, isn't it? It's green DMM before you can place that. It's the crux just below that before you get the rest. And I remember it just being like, it took everything out of us, and all the while you're miles away from the last piece of gear. So any fall we are taking, we are going straight back into the wall. And I remember at one stage popping a rib over my sternum. I hit the wall that hard, one of my ribs actually popped over the sternum. And I was like, oh God, I don't know if I can keep taking these whippers. Yeah, you had another question for me. I think they're kind of the favourite memories from summer. And probably the best memories of climbing so far.
We need to go back to Rattling.
Oh Jesus, I'm so scared to do that. I would be terrified to get back out there.
Oh man, we're far better climbers than we were then. That's 5 years ago.
That's
now.
true, but still. But we have to fucking put a line down it, Sean. I'm not ground up in it. Well, not a chance.
So what do you say when we're 26? Get married just for kicks, and move out to Alaska way up there. Get a job stacking bricks, stay at home with the kids, and I'll bring them back home to River. Never knew how to tell a lie. I'm being honest, man, till I die. You know, this young love, it's got me high, it's got me high. I'm making the best of this life.